Hey howdy, hey, how is everybody doing? And welcome back to Disney Daily. Hocus Pocus is classic to every Disney fan. Although it wasn't seen as very popular at the time of its release, this spooky witch's tale has definitely gained a dedicated fan base over the years. It is one of my favorite Halloween movies that I put on every year to get me into the Halloween spirit. And I mean, what's not to love? There's witches, a black cat, a spell book, an incredible dance number, and much more. Now, although this film is truly genius in a lot of ways, there is still one big question that has been left unanswered. The question is, if Binx the cat could talk, why didn't he tell his parents? Or why didn't he warn Max? Well, I believe I have an answer to those questions, and we explore that in today's video. Now, for those who may not remember, here's a little refresher. In the beginning of the movie, we get a flashback. We see Thackeray Binx, who is a human boy at this time, trying to save his sister Emily from the Sanderson sisters. He is cursed by the witches and turned into a black cat. The village, including Binx's father, finds the Sanderson sisters and sentences them to death by hanging. But right before their death, Binx's father asks what has happened to their son, to which Winifred replies, "Cat got my tongue." The sisters put a curse on the town so that they can return someday and are instantly put to death. After this, Binx tries to get his father's attention by brushing up against his leg, but to no avail. However, later in the movie, we are led to believe that Binx has always been a talking cat. After he meets Max, Danny, and Allison on Halloween, Binx tells them everything they need to know. He tells them of the witch's past, and he even helps concoct a plan to end the witches indefinitely. Now, this is where many fans are left confused. If Binx could talk, why didn't he just tell his father the whole story? Why didn't he say that he was turned into a black cat by the witches for trying to save his sister? First, let me give you some reasons as to why Binx didn't tell his father. Now, in the first scenario, let's assume he could talk and he had a voice. It's possible that maybe he was too afraid to speak because he knew how the village viewed witches and dark magic. He knew if he talked in the form of a black cat, the townspeople would have just assumed that it was the devil's work and killed him. They would have never cared to listen to him because they were too scared of anything witch related. He knew that if they killed him, he could not help honor Emily's memory or ensure that no other child's life would be taken. So he chose not to speak up and see to it that the sisters never returned. Or there's scenario 2, which I believe to be more valid and truthful, which is that he physically just could not speak. After being turned into a cat, he inherited not just the looks, but all of the cat's attributes: the fur, the whiskers, and oh yes, the meowing. So although Binx may have wanted to talk, he just physically couldn't. He was cursed, but could there be a way for him to talk again? Well, that leads me to my theory. See, I think that Binx's ability to talk was contingent upon the lighting of the black flame candle. The only way for him to get his voice back was if the candle was lit. What really solidified this to me was the scene where Max, Danny, and Allison visit the Sanderson house for the first time. Right when Max turns on a lighter and basically threatens to light the candle, Binx the cat appears out of nowhere, jumping on Max's shoulder while letting out a very angry and annoyed meow. Instead of using his words and explaining what will happen, which would have surely stopped Max, Binx just meows and tries to the best of his ability to scare the boy away. It isn't until after the candle is lit and the witches are back that Binx finally speaks. Okay, so now we know why Binx couldn't talk. But what was the significance behind the black flame candle? Why did it hold the key to his ability to speak? Well, because the candle is connected to the Sanderson sisters' return to life. You see, when the sisters cursed Binx, they made sure he couldn't speak so that he could never ever tell a living soul what happened to Emily and that they were witches. But once the witches were brought back to life, there was no need to keep Binx quiet anymore. And so that part of the curse was essentially lifted. Well, that concludes this video for today. Please leave in the comments down below characters or movies you would like to know more about. I really want to hear back from you guys. My question for today is, who is your favorite from Hocus Pocus? And if you haven't seen it, then tell me your favorite Disney Channel original movie. As always, thanks for being my guest here at Disney Daily. Until next time.